Hello, my name is Eric Wheeler. I work at High Grade Labs. I'm the sampling supervisor, and I just wanted to talk to you guys today about the limit of quantitation or the limit of quantification on our reports and what that means specifically for pesticides. Something we've definitely seen over the course of doing testing in the state of Oklahoma, concerning mostly the processors, and then obviously patients, and then also growers kind of just understanding how to look at a report and kind of just what to know and what some of the issues are. So let's get started. All right, so here we are. I've zoomed into one of our reports. This is just a pesticide advisory that we've done for a processor that wanted to see trim and what it had in it before they processed it. And so this is something that really wanted to let everybody know about, and you should just kind of know that this is a potential problem with different testing results and what can happen. So let me give you the setup. So what this is it's showing below LOQ for myclobutanol. What that means is that we can quantify up to 50 parts per billion, and that's what we can quantify at High Grade Labs. Anything above that will actually show up as a number. Anything below that, all the way to 0, will be below LOQ. So it's in there in trace amounts up to 50 parts per billion. And like I said, anything above 50 or higher up to 500 is going to show pass, but we'll actually have a number here. So let me give you an example. So let's say this one was actually, maybe if we looked in the data, the raw data, it was like 40 parts per billion, and then that processor processed that flour into, let's say a distillate. Well, this is what it would turn into. So this is actually it. So again, this is that limit of quantitation or quantification, and it's the report right here. It's based on the weight and all that. So this is it right here. And so the myclobutanol, once you process something that was very low in flour, it amplifies that roughly 4 times or more, depending on like the potency of the trim. So this trim was roughly, I think, 19 to 20%. So maybe like some nug run trim stuff, and it had that little bit of trace myclobutanol in it. So it amplified that, to get to say 90% distillate, a little over 4 times. And so that's what you get. You get 173 parts per billion now, where before it was below LOQ. Totally passing, but we're going to report that on the report. That's very important. So let's just, for instance, say this was flour at 173 parts per billion. Yep, it's passing. But if you process that, the chances of it passing at that point, depending on unless you're using some sort of CRCs and different filter media, will probably fail. And so it's very important to have that on the report as a grower and as a processor, and like I said, even as a patient, knowing like what is in that and as far as the numbers. Like I said, as the law states, it's passing, so it's totally fine. Let me give you another example. So there's times where we have seen this, and this is where it gets really interesting. So this is the only time we've ever seen one that this close to the limit. So for biphenazate, this sample came in at 499 parts per billion, literally 1 part per billion away from the failing limit. But we report that, so it's going to say pass because it is passing by the law. And so very important, like this is the real thing we wanted to show, is that if your limit is set at this, and then on the report it's just pass or fail and doesn't actually give you a number, that is a very big issue, because like I said, if this is processed, you're pretty much instantly failing the pesticide. So you just wasted a lot of time and money. And so having this data available for especially a processor is very, very important. And that's something that I really think needs to be kind of mandated, that it's shown down to whatever the lab's capability is to show the data. That's where it needs to be. Like whatever your limit of quantification is, that should be shown, and get it as low as possible so people, especially processors, can see that there are trace amounts, or at least up to 200 or whatever that is. That's just something that should be transparent and shown, because like I said, you just, for this instance, yes, it's passing. And if it just said pass or fail and you processed it, you're now failing, and you've got to go back to the grow and say, well, this is failing. And well, I passed I passed the test. Well, yes, you did. But if you did not have this number shown, then that's the big issue. So just kind of want to make people aware of that. If you have any questions for the lab or whatever, just give us a call, and we're here to answer questions, and you guys have a good day.